and welcome to Mother May I podcast with Irene Bremis. But before Irene Bremis, we have none other than the fantastic Mr. Frank Conniff. Hey, Frankie.
Hey, hey, hey.
Oh, damn it. Oh, I missed my cue with hey, hey, hey. So before we were recording, we were talking about some very attractive tinnitus. Both of us feel like our hearing is slipping. And
very much so.
Now, what is tinnitus, though? I think I have
That's
that.
like when you hear like a ringing in your ear, you hear noises in your ear all the time. I mean, I totally do. And my hearing is so bad that when I'm watching movies and TV shows, I have to use a headphone on my television.
Right.
And then the headphone just makes my hearing all the worse, you know. And I was watching a show on Amazon over the weekend featuring friend of this show, Jennifer Esposito.
Oh, yeah. It was
The Boys.
Yeah. Did you see?
Yeah. She's very, very awesome.
That's I know she got a lot of feedback on that, blowing up the head. We want to shout out. Did you know that Jennifer Esposito actually got married yesterday?
Oh, did she really?
Yeah, to a very sweet man, and I want to wish them all the best. Her head might have gotten blown off on The Boys, but that bitch is doing okay in real life, okay?
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, so, I did hear about that episode on The Boys. You know, I wish I could listen to the TV with my headset so it could drown off my husband's voice during every goddamn TV program, Frank.
Really?
So maybe I should start wearing headsets. Now, how do you actually... I know this really is taking up a lot of our intro time, but
this is valuable info here.
It's valuable for me. I want to know, how do you actually put your headphones?
Well, I have like a really cheap
Bluetooth?
No, it's just with a wire. It's with the same headphones I'm wearing now. I have a very cheap TV that you can do that with. Most TVs, I don't think, have that option. Most of the world we live in now is very wireless, you know. So
it's very wireless, and that makes me, and that scares me a little bit because
I'm a little like, for instance, on airplanes, I don't know how I'm supposed to watch the movie on the system if I don't have a wire.
Right. Well, you know what it is, where we need to see it actually plugging in to believe that it's working. Otherwise, we can't trust. We can't even hear our own voices through these headsets right now. Okay, so we need to know that if it's plugged in, it possibly could be working. You know what I mean?
Well, in fact, like years ago, I worked at Air America Radio right here in New York.
Nice.
And this was like the early 2000s, and the tech guy there came and was setting up my computer and saying, we're going to be doing Wi-Fi from here on in. Because if you remember back then, everything was like through the cable. It was all... Yeah. And I honestly did not possibly believe that the internet could work that way. I was I was saying this is going to be a disaster. So my point is, I'm an idiot.
No, you're not an idiot. The point is, we couldn't see the future. When everybody was saying, when I was in high school, and everybody was saying, pay attention in computer class, it's the way of the future.
Right.
I didn't believe it either, that and typing. And look at the two most important things now, computer and actually typing. Anyway, enough about the tech talk, Frank, and how old we are. You're going to have to cut down the tree and count the fucking rings to find out how old I am. I shall never tell, Frank.
I'll just tell the audience that I'm a lot fucking older.
So, Frank, how is Millie doing?
Millie's doing great. Thank you for asking. I'm taking her for a follow-up tomorrow. And she's crushing it. You know what? It's amazing. She's a better cat than she's ever been. She's more affectionate.
Really?
She sits on my lap. She's it's like being in the hospital kind of transformed her a bit, and she's she's so great. I can't get over how great she is.
Well, this is extraordinary news. I can't believe that she's actually more affectionate sitting on your. It's almost like she had a near-death experience and learned something, unlike the douchebag world we live in, where we had a collective near-death experience, and so many people, asshole in the White House, didn't even learn anything. Yet Millie is coming out sitting on your lap. I wonder if I'll get to finally meet her when I come see you.
It's possible that she'll come out and sit for a second and then run under the bed.
Okay, well, I'll take what I can get for Millie, Frank.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
That's another thing about Millie, though. She loves the pandemic because nobody ever comes over. She loves that.
I wonder if Millie is just like hopelessly in love with you. Stand in line, Millie. And she just doesn't like anybody near you. You know what I mean? But I'm going to see. The proof is in the pudding. I can't wait to see her. So we've got our guest here. I would just want to tell everybody, I want to set her up. This woman is not only one of the closest friends that I've had, also very good friends with Jen Esposito. In fact, I met Jen through this next guest. You've seen her on What Not to Wear. She has also been nominated for the 10 Customer Choice Beauty Awards on QVC. She is the founder and creator of Carmindy Beauty. She not only made me look beautiful for my wedding, so Steve did say I do, but she also made me look staggeringly hot for my album cover. Welcome to the show, the one and only, the gorgeous, the wonderful Carmindy, everybody.
Yay.
Hi.
Can't hear her. I think she has to put her.
Okay, sweetie, you got to put your
Hello.
Oh, hi.
You would think after all these months of Skyping and Zoom that we'd know how to do this, but we just don't.
Yeah, well, we spent a good part of the opening talking about that. Welcome, sweetie. So ooh, I like the background. I can tell from that background that you are in your beautiful apartment.
Clearly, brick walls, New York City.
Beautiful. I'm jealous that I'm not in New York. Both you and Frank are in New York City. How's New York looking, guys?
You're in New York City. What are you talking about?
I'm in New York City, but I don't consider Staten Island. Let's be really honest, okay? It is the forgotten borough for a reason, okay? When I say New York City, I mean none other than Manhattan, maybe Brooklyn, of course, but Staten Island doesn't come onto the radar, but I should stop saying that because Staten Island, Staten Island matters.
Technically.
Technically. So how's the city looking, though? Manhattan.
I just got back. So I spent 2 months at the beach out east, and I just got back, and it looks real good to me. People are having a good time. They're going out to eat. They're practicing social distancing and wearing their masks, and looks like we're shopping. I went to West Elm and Container Store, and not a lot of people. I kind of like it because everybody that wanted to leave and stay gone are gone. And none of the tourists are here. So it's like Manhattan at its finest.
Right. Absolutely. Frank, how's it looking in your neck of the woods, sweetie?
Well, it's fine. Everybody's wearing a mask, and the outdoor cafes are open and people are out and stuff. And
people are out and stuff.
So it's, I have to be careful because I'm old and I have underlying conditions like a motherfucker. So.
We all have to be careful, though, Frank. We all have to be careful. Now, so they're going 25% capacity, right? In New York City, is this happening, or did I make this up in my head?
I think that's correct. I'm pretty sure that that's accurate.
I'm trying to get my ability to feel joy up to 25% capacity.
Oh, come on. You can get it there. We're going to make you do that.
We can get it there. Now, somebody who has been unstoppable during this pandemic is you, my dear friend. You've been really killing it. I was talking to, before I brought your when I brought you on, I gave you a swooning introduction, but I always do that after before I bring on the guest, and then I bring on the guest. But
thanks,
you
Mama.
were also nominated for a 10 Customer Choice Beauty Awards on QVC.
That's right.
Everybody, what that is.
So it's my 1-year anniversary of launching Carmindy Beauty exclusively on QVC. They've never had their own proprietary brand. I'm the first. And right out of the gate, we had a slam dunk. And we're nominated for 10 Customer Choice Beauty Awards, which is really exciting. Rising Star, which makes me laugh, is one of the awards because I'm like, I've been at this for 30 years and now I'm a rising star.
Well, that's what they say about a lot of people.
You started when you were 4 years old. So.
I did. Thank you. No, I'm actually 106, but it's all Carmindy Beauty.
Yeah, that's what it is. Oh, what a great way. It's totally working. I know. I love my Carmindy Beauty. I have the thing that I really love about Carmindy Beauty is the concealer that I have for you.
You love that concealer, don't you? You love that.
I love it because it's really one of the only things that really work. I'm Greek, and as a Mediterranean woman, I get these dark circles. They're hereditary.
Genetic and hereditary,
Genetic,
yep.
Absolutely. And they're the one things that cover up the circles under my eyes, and it doesn't look like I've got caked on makeup. It makes me look very, young and youthful. And
natural. I mean, listen, my entire philosophy has always been about less makeup with more impact. Look like yourself, look like a human. Just polish, don't paint your beauty. Like I'd say majority of my products are also unisex. Men and women can wear them. And that's why that concealer that you love is trending with a lot of guys I know, straight, gay, and everything in between, because it's undetectable.
That's why you need it, Frank. Yeah. You're airbrushed, my friend.
I have a concealer. It's called a mask that I wear.
Or if you grow a beard, it could be hairy contour.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I like it.
I never have had a beard ever. Anytime I grow,
I have a mask too, Frank. It's called happiness.
when any hair growth on my face immediately makes me look like a creepy serial killer. So.
Oh no! Like you have like the stabbing wagon van with the dark windows.
Yeah. It doesn't work for me. I shave even through the pandemic. I shave every day.
Good, yeah. Stay away from elementary schools if you have a beard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Especially if you don't have a van, thank God, because that would be an automatic lockup for you. No, you have a baby face. Only men that are trying to. I always feel like men try to conceal their double chins. That we don't have that luxury with a beard, And you need none of that, Frankie boy. You need none of that.
None of it.
Carmindy, so you are. How is it going on QVC? Because I know that this was like a new venture for you. How is it going? Would you say?
Well, there's a silver lining here. I mean, I wish it wasn't because of a pandemic, but the fact that women can't go out and shop in retail, we've seen a huge surge at QVC of new customers, mainly in the food department, because we sell everything from food to electronics, beauty, everything on QVC. So a lot of people have just been in the comfort of their home shopping. It's great for beauty because, like, for instance, I go on and I'm teaching, I'm showing you how to do it. I'm doing it on myself. There's models in the studio. I'm doing it all via, Skype. And so women can actually learn, see, and then the return policy is awesome. So it's a safe place for women to shop, because where you don't want to go is like a makeup store
with
like a Sephora or an Ulta where people are touching and can you imagine? It's like a petri dish.
Yeah.
So this is a really great way for women to be able to shop, especially with beauty. And I've been playing up with the eyes. I've got all these new eye products. So eyeliners, mascara, eyeshadows, because we're all doing
the mask.
We're doing this, right? So lipstick is kind of, taking a pause, and it's all about the eyes.
It makes me sad that lipstick is taking a pause. You guys know I love my lipstick, so I must say. So I'm going to have to find a really cool mask with like lips on it that match my lips and kind of traipse around in that.
And we still need lips for our Zoom calls and our FaceTimes and everything else and our Skype. So you should still, have that handy. But there's nothing worse than putting on like an awesome bold lip like you love, and then put on your mask, go to the store, and you take it off and you don't even look in the mirror, and it's like smeared halfway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, you always look like you're drunk, no matter what.
You look like the Joker.
Yes.
Well, I am drunk no matter what, Frank. That's the big secret.
I don't know what you're talking about, Frank.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you drinking already? She's a day drinker.
I haven't had a drink in 7 days, and I just got off a 24-hour fast, ate my breakfast, and now I'm having a tequila.
God, that's right. I know how you love your tequila.
It's a balance.
It's a balance. Listen, so Carmindy, so when somebody buys something from QVC, right, and they say, first of all, I love your lip gloss. I just want to go and say that. But when I want one so bad.
Girl, they come in 3 shades. Hello.
Should I just leave now?
But wait a minute. Frank would look really good in my Golden Goddess highlighter stick.
I know.
Frank, come on now.
Come on, Frank. Just a little, like
just a little on the cheekbone, Frank. Just a little glow.
I'll take a lot of that. I'm posing for the cover of the new J.K. Rowling novel. So.
Nice. Well, you got to get your glow on for that. You're a star.
Yes, totally.
He totally is. Now, when somebody buys your makeup from QVC, and they, what's your return policy? Like, sometimes
it's amazing. So, they can open it, they can try it. If they don't like it, they can return it. They can exchange it or return it. I mean, QVC is one of the best places to shop in the world because of that. It's you're able to watch the person who made the product, talk about the product, why they made the product. You get to choose your shade, and if it doesn't work, you send it back and you get what works for you. So it's really kind of like foolproof.
Wow, that's amazing. Now I'm going to ask this to Frank too, because I've been thinking about this. I was talking to somebody about this. I'm going to ask Frank, and then I'm going to ask you too.
Yeah.
When we think about like our lives and like why we became like why we decided to do what we're doing.
Yeah.
I was just talking to a couple of people, and it was really interesting. It was that life-changing moment, like something that triggers your life in a different path. And so Frank is, and I always love to compliment Frank because it's coming from the heart, so it's not hard and I'm not lying, okay? Yeah. Frank is literally one of the most talented writers, one of the most beautiful people that I've ever known in my life. Frank, I love you. You know how I feel about you.
Aww.
I'm so glad that you chose comedy as your path because you're truly funny. And you're not only funny when you're on stage and funny around people and give people so much joy, you're really one of the best friends anybody could ever ask for. So I want to ask you, is this something that you wanted to do while you were growing up, like comedy? Or is this something like, what was your moment in life that you said, you know what, this is what I want to do, or who inspired you to do what you do?
Well, with me, it's interesting because I did want to do it from the time I was a kid.
Really?
I loved comedians on television. Show business was something I was very, I grew up in New York City, and my dad was in the media, and so show business.
Staten Island? No, just kidding.
No, my dad was a world traveler, but Staten Island was a bit much for him.
It was,
but
third world country.
His dad, yeah, exactly. His dad hardly though. His dad was a journalist and quite handsome.
Well, a journalist, and he was friends with Jackie Gleason and Phil Silvers, so.
Wow.
So it was something I was around. It was something I knew that I had a knack for. I could make my friends laugh and stuff. And so it's something I always wanted to do. But it's interesting that when it came time to actually do it, it took me a long time to work up the self-confidence. And I actually, for whatever reason, I had a lot of doubt. I was like, am I really talented? Can I really do this? And it took me years to overcome that. And even when I started doing comedy, I still had lots of doubts and didn't know if I would be good at it. And now as like an older guy, I'm finally at a point where I can say, yeah, I am good at it. It's something I have a talent for, but that process took me a really long time. So right. I think I really envy like really young comedians who have self-confidence, and sometimes they're really annoying when they have self-confidence.
Yeah, they really, and they're also lacking in talent when they have a lot of self-confidence.
That's actually a very common thing that I've noticed in comedy, that the people who are really good at self-promotion and networking are usually the less talented ones. And the really talented ones are the ones who are filled with doubt and are inside their heads and
I still feel doubt. You would not believe the people that
we all do.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
People that I've met that are such incredible comics, I won't even tell you who they are because they're famous, and they still feel doubt and lack of confidence. And it's just one of those things that we go through life. But I think it's amazing that you had this vision. You knew what you wanted to do from a kid. You said, I wanted to be
It's just a very lucky thing for me because I was such a screw up my whole life with drugs and alcohol and just fucking up my life when I was younger in every way I could.
I wish I knew you back then, Frank.
You sound like a good time, Frank.
We would have had some really good times, I'm telling you. But it's just lucky that I had comedy, that I had this, because if I didn't have this, like I don't know what would have happened to me. I would have completely fallen by the wayside because it's the only thing I've ever been able to do. I sucked at every job that I ever had that was people who I waited on at Arby's were always very upset because I sucked at it.
throwing fucking nickels at you. Oh, I love it. See, you hear that from comics. Now, Carmindy, I'm going to ask you, and I know that you have some, I know that you're going to have something, like I know you, so I feel like I'm going to know the answer to this, but I want to hear it from you.
Yeah.
That life-changing moment where you felt like you wanted to service other women and do something nice for them so that people instill confidence in other people. What was that moment for you?
I was 15 years old. And thank you. I was 15 years old, and what was that? A freshman in high school, and they had career day at high school. And I went into, like the big room where they had all these careers set up, and I was like, none of this all sucks. I don't want any part of this. Like, this is ridiculous. And I always loved makeup and art, and I wanted to travel the world. And I was like, oh no, I don't want to do any of this. I'm just going to create my own destiny. And I just knew it innately. And I was riddled with insecurity. I had no clue what I was going to do or how I was going to do it. I just figured, screw it. I'm just going to figure it out. I'm just going to ask questions and take the leap, because there is no alternative for me. All these jobs that they're saying that are opportunities, not for me. So I just made mistake after mistake and failure after failure, and I'd get a hit and then a miss and a hit and a miss, and I just figured it out until I definitely got there. And it's funny because as Frank said, it's so true. If you don't think about who you are and what you do and how well you did and how you can make it better and question yourself, then I think you're a fraud. Because anybody who has, and that's not to say self-confidence isn't key, because self-confidence is beautiful, but you have to be self-aware. And I think the people that have...
Self-awareness is everything.
It's everything.
Just amplify that for a second.
Absolutely everything. Being self-aware is not easy for most people. And they mask it by, false bravado.
Self-awareness is especially important if you have gravy on your face.
There's that. Or a herpes.
He can't help it. You have to excuse him. He's just naturally, organically. He's not like a canned comics. A lot of comics do the same fucking material. You want to...
No, this is perfect. This is my kind of guy.
I want to add, too, that one of my problems at school was that they didn't have career day. They had sabotage your career day.
Where'd you go to school?
Little House
High.
Oh, stop.
But it's funny. I had an assistant, probably at the height of What Not to Wear years, when I was on that show, What Not to Wear on TLC. It was a 10-year show, makeover show that ran on the TLC network. And I remember I had an assistant, and she was very young, and she worked with me for about a year and a half. And she came to me. We were like in Canada. I think I was doing like the shopping channel in Canada. I was on a book tour. I was doing TV appearances. And she came to me in my room one night, and she said, I'm going to move on because I've paid my dues. And she'd been at it for about a year and a half. And I looked at her, I said, sweetheart, I'm still paying my dues.
Wow.
Don't ever think that you have paid your dues.
Right, you're still paying your dues. I call girls like that an abortion, or people like that with a sense of entitlement. No.
Yes.
Well, I've seen comedians, or I've read people say stuff like, I'm going to get into comedy and I'm going to give myself a year to make it. And it's like, you're not going to make it. You have no idea what it's like.
And the year is usually the point where you decide you're going to quit. Okay.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
That's exactly the point where you go, wow, I made a tragic mistake. I'm going to quit. Let me rethink this situation. Well, that's interesting. For me, I think, I never really wanted to be a comic. That wasn't in the cards, but I knew I wanted to be a performer of some sort. But the minute I moved to New York City, I'm originally from Beantown, Boston. I moved to Manhattan. I moved here really, really young. The only jobs I was working through this agent, wasn't really an agent, like manager. And I was getting all these things like phone sex. And I was like, I'm not into like doing the voice for phone sex. Like, this is
Well, I fired my agent because he didn't send me out on those.
I wish I knew you, Frank. We could have really,
I could have been really good at that.
I had no interest in it whatsoever. But I think for me, I used humor and implemented it as a tool because when I was young, I was in school with my brother. He was severely autistic. Imagine going to school with somebody. And listen, you know how peer pressure is. We went to the same school and he would have these like crazy fits where he would flip over the table in the lunchroom and stuff. So I felt like the only way that I could sort of like feel comfortable with other people was either get really defensive, which I didn't want to do. Okay. Right. Or make people laugh, so that's what I chose as my path, to make people laugh. Of course, I didn't dream of it like a young kid like you did, Frank. And I think that if you do know what you want to do early on, like for example, Pete Davidson. I knew Pete Davidson when he was born. Steve was best friends with his father, Scott Davidson.
Was he really?
Yes, yes. Wow. I knew Pete when he was a baby, literally a baby. And I remember when his mother, Amy, took him out, we saw them out for lunch and we were talking to them. And she said, you know what, my son, Pete, Irene, wants to start doing comedy. And he was 10 years old. And I just whispered to her and I said, tell him to do something else. It's a tough look at him now, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes, it's in the cards for you too.
Right. Yeah.
That's the thing, is there is no plan B when it's in your blood.
When it's in your blood.
Frank, you got there. It was in your blood, and you were gonna keep going.
It was in my blood.
You know what else is in your blood? Cholesterol. No, that doesn't make any sense. Sorry.
That's why I had a quadruple bypass last year.
Did you really?
I did. Yes.
You did.
You got a heart of steel.
He does. His
Literally.
heart was so big. His heart was so big. He had a quadruple. How many people can say that with their teeny fucking hearts, Frank?
I know. It was my heart attack was in quad. It was very very good. But it's it's a cliche, but it's very true with me, and I'm sure it's true. It's like you don't choose it; it chooses you. And the only people who really who end up having a career on any level, whether it's being really successful or just being a working person who somehow gets by for years and years and years doing comedy or acting or whatever, it's people who just have to do it because I think if you had an impulse to do anything else, there's a good chance you'd do it. If you were like, I like comedy, but I think I have a passion for stockbroking too. Then you'd probably become a stockbroker because that's an easier path,
Right. But I think that when we channel all of our energy, all of our power, all of our passion,
things too.
Yeah. I think that's when we become great. It's the slow. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Right.
And we got to keep moving and keep going and keep doing it. If you're flighty and I can do that and I can do this and I'll do a little bit of that, unless you come from family money, that doesn't really.
I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second here with that. I believe that was true years ago. I think you actually have to think on multiple levels right now. When you're doing comedy, you have to think in terms of like writing and other stuff because.
Oh yeah, in the same vein, for sure.
Yeah, in the same. Oh yeah, in the
same vein, in the same industry that you love. But you're not going to go be a dental hygienist.
No. Well, I thought about it.
Although you'd be the best dental hygienist in the world, and I'd go to your office.
With these teeth,
I tried to become a dental hygienist. And they said we've decided to go in a different direction. I couldn't make it.
I'm sorry, no scraping for you.
I'm sorry, but Carmindy, you're absolutely right. It is in the same vein. You're absolutely right. But in the same vein, we have to learn how to multitask.
We got to pivot.
The thing for me was I'm really awful at multitasking, and now without multitasking, you somewhat desist. You have to be able to multitask in this business. Within the same vein, like you said.
Well, right here, you're a producer. There's a show. We're lighting experts. We have to do so many. But again, it all encompasses that passion of what we do, which is important.
Yeah, well, this is more of I like to call this my jizz passion because it's a little the producing hat I could do without. But but yeah, so, we all have our wants and our strategies and why we land where we do. Now, where would you like to see yourself in the future? Carmindy, in terms of like you're at QVC now, is there any sort of direction you have for yourself in like?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to be global, and the reason why is because there is a huge gap missing in the marketplace for what I do. Everybody is contouring their face and wearing false eyelashes and trying to look like a Kardashian and painting on, 10 pounds of makeup. And there has never been a makeup artist that does natural, clean, light-handed makeup for the masses, for women of all sizes, all ages, all skin tones that don't want to look like a made-up Barbie doll. And that's what I do. And I empower these women, whether they're 75 or whether they're 17. It's the natural look alternative. And because of What Not to Wear, that was such a great show for 10 years in the States, it's now in 117 countries, okay? For the first time. I mean, it's kind of wild. I have this new audience. So I keep getting all these, DMs and messages from women from everywhere, from Pakistan to Mexico to Ireland, you name the country, and they're like, why can't I get your products here? And I want to be able to ship my products eventually internationally, so all women have the right to choose what's right for them. I'm not for everybody. I have a tribe, a certain amount of a type of woman and men that like my style. So I want to be able to give them the access to that. So that's where I see myself in the future, is expanding this so it can be global.
So right now, are you exclusively on QVC? You're not anywhere else? Okay, so that's what wow, okay, yeah. So that's...
Well, if you're going to be exclusive, that's a good place.
That's good. Be married to QVC. That's for sure. They have a lot of...
It's a happy marriage too.
To anybody, be exclusive to them. Yes.
It's a happy marriage too, because our actual products are manufactured in the U.S. They're in a warehouse. It's on TV, and you shop online, so nobody has to go out and worry about shopping. So it's actually the safest place to sell cosmetics right now.
It really, really is. Okay, now how often are you on QVC? Because we're running out of time now. I just want everybody to know, when are you on QVC selling your products? Because I think you're such a selling point. Your products are amazing. They speak for themselves.
Thank you.
I really think that when you're selling your product, you're definitely a very formidable selling point for your product. So
Thank you. So right now, I don't have something on the current schedule. I was just on last week twice. I'm usually on twice a month for about 4 different hours. But if you go to my Instagram, which is at Carmindy Beauty, I will always let you know, or you can go to Facebook Carmindy. DM me on Instagram, not on Facebook, because I hardly look at those messages. But if you DM me on my Instagram, at Carmindy Beauty, ask me any of your beauty questions. I'd be more than happy to answer them. I do that when I'm on QVC, because you can buy my products at QVC.com. When you go there, the top of the page, you can watch Inner Beauty, which is my new digital series. And it's a makeover series working with real women, talking to them about, the struggles that they're having with their lives or their kids, or letting go of their makeup routine. And it's like a mini version of What Not to Wear, but beauty only. And it's called In Her Beauty. Go to QVC.com, type in Carmindy Beauty, and then right there on the top of the page is a great way to watch kind of my style, and then the makeup's all beneath.
Wow, that's amazing. You know what, Carmindy, you're so right. Like, how do women, especially young women, I'm going to, address this to the young women. I can't believe that they're trying, everybody's trying to look alike. It's like you said with the Kardashian as the sort of prototype of how to look. And then how are you going to break out and be individual and feel confident about who you are and where you come from when you're trying to look like you're just in this cookie cutter kind of... Right.
And I've always fought against that, because first of all, a lot of people don't believe me. When I was growing up, I was the overweight kid, teased, bullied, made fun of, didn't fit into a mold. And so I learned humility, and then I grew into this, who I am. Nothing was done. It just kind of happened. But I always remember that feeling, and I don't want any woman to ever feel that again. And I've been all over the world, worked with the biggest models and celebrities, and who inspires me the most is everyday women living their lives who come to me and they're like, I got 3 kids, I just went through a divorce, You know, how do I make myself look amazing? And I'm like, talk to me. And I get inspiration from them because at the end of the day, it's not the most beautiful woman in the room that gets the attention. It's the one who is the most confident, truly confident, authentically confident. She's going to get all the eyeballs, not just the hot, you know, dumb one in the corner trying to look like everybody else. And I always say, you know, there's a famous quote by Charles Darwin: if we were all cast in the same mold, there would be no such thing as beauty. I've always believed that.
Very, very true. And I couldn't agree more. You know that I teach aerobics. I only taught at Living Well Lady, all the unattractive gyms that were $15 an hour, Lucille Roberts, all women, all ages, all sizes. Those are my people. I totally get it. And Frank, you also have those people too at every single goddamn comedy show when somebody laughs, sweetie. Now, Frank, you've got the streaming. Before we cut out of here, I want you. I think you have something coming up with the streaming.
Yes,
right?
this month, every month, Traceable You and I, my comrade from Mystery Science Theater 3000, we're doing a live streaming riff of a bad movie, and
I love that.
In October, I believe we're going to be doing Halloween-themed short films.
Wow, that's
October.
awesome.
Yeah,
So
so I don't have the date with me, but go to my at Frank Conniff on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and it's at F Conniff on Instagram.
Awesome.
I'm always being the publicity whore that I am every day.
You gotta be.
Everything.
Yeah,
we gotta be
promoting the hell out of everything.
That's good. I'm terrible at it. That's why. Anyway, let's not go there, Frank. I just want to say that I'm always thinking about shows, bad movies, because I watch a lot of them. You should put Mother May I Sleep with Danger at the top of your list. All right. I already saw that and paid for it. I'm still pissed off about it. Anyway, we're running out of time. Frank, I love you. Carmindy, I love you so much.
I love you more, sister.
Bye, her beautiful.
Bye, friends. Big kisses, guys.
Take care.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye, sweetie.